At Automasters LLC, our mission is to serve our community by providing quality automobiles at affordable prices. All of our vehicles are inspected and certified to offer you the confidence in knowing you have a quality vehicle. Our goal is to provide you with a seamless process and positive experience for your automobile purchase. Financing recommendations and specific vehicle inquiries are available at your request. You can find us at www.automasters06.com and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Also, please feel free to contact Terrence Miles at 601-927-7794. And oh yeah, tell him Sonia sent you.
She say sports. She say sports. She say sports. She say sports. She say sports.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Sonia, and welcome back to She Say Sports. Please welcome back award-winning journalist and host of Listen In with KNN and co-host of Kelsey's Korner. Please welcome back Kelsey Nicole Nelson. What's up, girl? How you doing?
I am fantastic. Hi, Sonia. Thanks so much for having me. Always delighted to be here because there's always so much happening in the sports world, and I love breaking it down with you.
Absolutely. You feeling better? You was under the weather a little bit last
I was, oh my gosh, I was literally like sick the whole week. If you hear my voice is still a little bit
Yeah, I
deeper,
hear it. I hear it.
but I'm about 85%. So well enough to
Okay.
at least come out and do stuff. I promise I'm not contagious. If you're around me this weekend, I did not get you sick if you are sick. It was not me. So I'm embracing my inner Tony
Right,
Braxton, former Maryland girl,
right.
and just going a voice deeper.
Absolutely. I love it. I love it. So, Kelsey, let's get right into it. So, as you know, the WNBA has been on fire. It is all the buzz in the nation right now. And we're going to talk about the back-to-back champs, Las Vegas Aces. You know, they got some great news on Friday. The Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority announced a deal Friday in
Yep.
which it will provide a $100,000 annual sponsorship to each Aces player for this season in 2025. But the agreement has raised some flags with the WNBA. Kelsey, what is going on with this, and why is it a problem with the WNBA?
Oh my gosh. It seems like every time, it's like when you keep winning, and then it's like people start to do this though. Like, why you keep winning?
Right,
What's going on with you? Why does all the good luck go to you? And that's essentially what's happening to the Las Vegas Aces. So as you said, I mean, the Las Vegas Aces right now, hottest team in the WNBA. They were already projected to finish number one, already looking like it. Asia Wilson is already off to an amazing MVP
right,
caliber start. So it just seems like things are going well. They got the new rings, the new bling on the finger, raising the banner and the new arena, selling out arenas, like you said, so
yeah.
much happening for this team. And then I think which was exciting, now we have the two-time champs, right? Looking to run it
Mhm.
back once again, already have done it twice. But as you said, it's all of a sudden we hear $100,000 sponsorship deal to each and every person on that roster, which is
Yeah.
it was amazing because right now we're seeing so much happening, right, with WNBA and sponsorship deals. I mean, I just saw Angel Reese in Chicago on stage with Meg Thee Stallion and Glorilla.
Yes,
And then in the NBA Finals commercial, her and Camila Cardoso talking about they know
I
what it is
love it.
champion circle. So all of this good stuff happening. Kelsey Plum, even though despite what's happening off the court, just looking like she's
Right.
winning the cigar brand. And I mean, just all of this good stuff. So anyways, I think Las Vegas was essentially trying to cash in on all that's happening in Las Vegas. One right now, we know Las Vegas is doing a big boom towards sports, right? I was just there for Super Bowl. If you have been there recently, they really want to become a sports capital, right?
Yeah.
So gone are the days where you just think about casinos and gambling. And of course, that's still there, especially with sports betting pretty much being legalized everywhere, right? And we're in the age of player
Right.
props and bets and stuff. But now they say, I think that investing in the teams is the way to go. And they know they have one of the hottest teams in the WNBA. And so I think what we see happening right now, Sonia, is okay, so $100,000 for each player, which is the sponsorship deal. And essentially how they broke it down was they're like, it's just like the NIL in college, right? just like how players can get NIL. They said it had to be mutually agreeable. And essentially what they want players to do is go to appearances on the city's behalf. So, anybody that's been in an area where teams are, that's when they come out to the community events and stuff like that. He want them, of course, to rock the gear, which is a part of any sponsorship deal. But essentially, he just wants them to play and represent the city, right? So that's what they're looking for. This is what Las Vegas folks are looking for, which sounds right. And essentially, this is not just what they're doing on the WNBA. So I think it's important to remember. They've also put money into the NBA Summer League, which if you've been, where is it? In Vegas, put $1.2 million there. And they also approved $5 million for wrestling fans, WrestleMania 41. But anyways, I think the WNBA is just trying to make sure it's fair for all teams. Steve Hill, the Las Vegas Aces president, said essentially when we went into this, it was not to get anybody in trouble. And head coach Becky Hammond was like, look, most of the times when people reach out to me, it's for two players. We know who that is. Keisha Wilson and Kelsey Plum. I think she really thought it was a win to have this whole team do it. A lot of people are looking at the fine print, though, Sonia, in the CBA, right? The CBA, of course, is what governs the league and making sure everything's fair. So we know there's been a lot of conversation about the charter flights, of course, coming this year, which was amazing. Now, essentially, the WNBA is looking into an investigation, just making sure that this actually can happen, right? Because the biggest thing is you want to keep things fair. Because remember, this is a team that already was investigations last year. So I think we talked about it for De'Erica Hamby, right? And she talked about how essentially she felt like she was traded and that things weren't right around pregnancy, she's, by the way, balling out with the Los Angeles Sparks. Shout out to her. And then number two, they were actually being investigated last year as well for maybe doing some under the table payments to players. So all that to say, Asia was something like they're being targeted. And so she's like, this is a win for the WNBA. This could maybe set a new precedent. Look, it's money for this whole team and squad, and maybe other people will see what they can do in their city. You have the New York Liberty making the most revenue we've seen for a WNBA team in ticket sales. So all in all to say, it's a little messy, but I do think looking at the CBA, I do think things are going to be fine and fair. I think it's just hard right now for the WNBA to govern the Aces because, again, things are just riding high, Sonia, for them and just continuing to go well. And so other teams, I think, are just, a little salty probably, looking at the Aces. They just keep leveling up, in the words of Sierra.
And you know what? And that's true. And you're right. And I was just about to say, I mean, the sponsorship doesn't seem like it's violating the WNBA salary cap because the authority did not even orchestrate the sponsorship with the Aces. They went to the agents of each player. And do you think the teams are likely to raise questions? And you just, about the fairness of it, which I don't think they should, because how about your city do the same thing? Let your authority, and I don't know. I understand.
Like you said, they did what they needed to do. I mean, anytime, and this is, I know people might not know the back work, but it's even for me. So a lot of times when I do player interviews, I'm having to go through that agent, right, or that rep. And that's a respectable thing to do. Even if I know the player, I like to cross my I's and dot my T's because you never want to feel like you back-ended somebody. But legally, same thing for these people. You have to go again through their agents and reps. And of course, why would they say no to this? This is an amazing opportunity. Especially when other team members are on board. I hate that it seems like every season, I feel like we give the Las Vegas fuel to their fire. Like, I think this is just another thing for them to play harder for.
They're gonna have a dynasty if you keep playing with them.
Yes, right. And the players, they kind of made a joke about it on social media last week when it just dropped. Sydney Colson is hilarious on social media if you don't follow her, but she's like, we're being investigated. Like, and it's unfortunate, but you know what? I like to think what I've learned in PR, if people are talking about you, good or bad, they're talking about you. And right now, look, the WNBA and the Las Vegas Aces, they're making us talk. Me and you are having conversations. So the WNBA is still top of storylines, even though I hate that it has to be through a negative light with this story.
Right. Well, WNBA will be looking deeper into this to make sure there's fairness regarding the spirit of the cap rules. We'll see. I don't see where it's been a problem, but hopefully they'll be able to get the sponsorship, because this would be an opportunity for them to not, well, one, get more money in their pockets for their families, and number two, to not have to go overseas and play sports just to make more money. So, we'll be keeping our eye on this story for sure, definitely. Yep. So we're going to move to football real quick. NFL GOAT Tom Brady is in football talks again, but not about being on the gridiron. Brady will join Fox Sports with network's lead play-by-play announcer Kevin Burkhardt, replacing 14-year NFL veteran and fan favorite as Fox leading color commentator Greg Olsen. What are your thoughts on this move for Brady, and how do you think he would do as a color analyst?
I mean, he can't be apologetic like he had to be after the roast. Like what you say is what you say on a broadcast. You have to stand
Yeah,
true to it because we know how NFL football fans are. They will come for you, but you know what?
they
If
will come
you
for
gotta,
you.
like they say in Florida, you got to stand your ground no
That's
matter
true.
what. And but I think Brady, he's very personable and charismatic. Honestly, I do want to see though. I don't think people realize broadcasting really is a talent and a skill. And I'm not taking away from
Yes.
anybody that has been in that booth. Greg Olson was just in my neck of the woods here in Baltimore,
Mhm.
speaking at the Aspen Sports Society Conference. And I think
Mhm.
he is one I think that grew into his role. I think Tony Romo has been one that kind of just was. I mean, you didn't when he first got to the booth. I don't think we really knew what to
Nobody really
expect.
liked him.
Right. And they were all complaining, like he's calling everything before it happened. But now why do people love him that same
I
exact
know.
reason? Because he's telling you exactly what's about to happen on the football field. I think for Brady, getting paid that much amount of money, he could honestly care if you like him or not. But I think people know Brady is a magnet. He's a draw. He knows people, love to hate him. And I think that's gonna make people listen to
Yes.
the podcast. He already made a joke about that first Cowboys game and Dak Prescott. So I think
Yes.
he will add
That
a
was
little bit,
funny.
I think he will add a little bit of fun to it. But again, I think he's going to have to grow in that role. I think, I know
Mhm.
Drew Brees wasn't necessarily broadcasting, but he was in that TV studio booth and we saw how long that lasted, right? Because again,
Right.
it's not as easy
It's
as
not as easy as
natural to make it
yeah,
seem. And
it's
so
not.
I wish him the best. I would never root against him. Though I grew up a Ravens fan and we hated the Patriots and
Yeah.
Tom Brady. But like I said, I think remember kind of like Caitlin Clark, I'd say remember it might be some growing pains. But Brady's also somebody that can take it. I think he has a competitive edge. And so I think he'll take
Yeah.
it to heart and really work to get better.
That's true. And as you mentioned, his first game will be calling the Dallas Cowboys in week
Yeah.
1. Do you think this will satisfy his appetite for the game, or is this just the obvious next step of retirement for him?
I think Brady, when a player retires, or really when anybody retires, you really do, I think, look for what can fulfill you now.
Mhm.
I don't think we're going to see Brady back on that football field. He already joked around how really he can't now because he has some ownership in the National Football League, right? So that
Mhm.
would be a conflict of interest. But I think Brady right now, I think he's enjoying it, and I think his broadcast kind of is like if you're a talented player, that is kind of the next relevant role. Right.
Yeah.
It's just that Prickness and Ray Lewis was there. And that was one of the things he did right after retiring
Mhm.
the game. So I think for Brady, he's involved in a lot. I mean, Brady's been busy, right? We just talked about the Aces. Hello.
Yeah,
I mean, he's been involved in a lot of different
that's
things. I
true.
think this will be one thing that I won't say satisfies him. I think this will be one thing to kind of check off his list because I think Brady's a natural competitor, meaning I don't know if there's ever enough. I feel like I'm kind of that way. Like when you're a natural
Correct.
competitor, like, you're happy with things, but you're always thinking ahead and forward because you always want to accomplish so much. So, I think he'll enjoy it. I think he'll get to be back on social media, like messing around with folks, with it. But
Yeah.
don't expect this to be the last for Brady. I think he
Oh
definitely will
no.
continue to add to the Brady portfolio, things that he does.
Well, I'll be looking forward to see him in this element. Like you said, he's very charismatic, and so this will be interesting to see how things go for him. So I'll be looking forward to week 1 against the Cowboys. That's gonna be fun.
That's gonna be fun to hear
So
what he says about Dak.
right, that was hilarious. So I mean, he's a jokester now. Maybe he'll become a comedian later. Who knows? So so, Kelsey, we're gonna go back to the basketball, and just like the weather, the NBA playoffs are heating up. I'm so corny. I know. I'm so. We are in the conference finals, and in the West, we have number 3 Minnesota Timberwolves against number
Yeah.
5 2011 NBA champs, my second team, the Dallas Mavericks. This will be the Timberwolves' first time in the conference finals in 20 years since 2004. And this is the Mavs' third appearance in the conference finals.
Yeah.
So, about that game the other night with the Timberwolves and the Nuggets, unbelievable comeback, down by 20 against the defending champs, and you take it from them. And yeah,
At their house.
at
At
their
their house.
house, the Nuggets should have closed this out on Friday. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm like, I know, they should have sent them fishing Friday, but the Timberwolves sent them fishing. So, what are your thoughts on this matchup, and who makes it to the finals?
Let me tell you, I'm so excited. And let me tell everybody in the DMV area, give me my props because I called this one before it
You
happened.
sure?
I said, give the Timberwolves a slight edge in the game. And then I honestly did feel like the injuries would hurt the New York Knicks, even in
Yeah.
the electric crowd. And sure enough, what happened? OG Anunoby gets in the game. He's hurting. He doesn't look like he's supposed to. Jalen Brunson, of all people, then he also gets added to that growing injury list for the Knicks. But going back to
Right.
the series, I think what's so fun about the Minnesota Timberwolves, is they're building and budding on this young star, Anthony Edwards, who has really
Oh,
grown,
he's something.
before our eyes. And I know he struggled right in this game in that first half, especially, right? But he talked about it. He was able to find and trust his teammates, which was so fun to watch, this team kind of come together. Rudy Gobert, I think, stepped up when he needed to. And he's been somebody that's been getting a lot of heat, i.e. Draymond Green, bringing all the heat towards him and really giving him fighting words. I mean, really talking
Yeah.
about the game and like talking about him as a defensive player, especially as someone that once again just won defensive player of the year. So all in all to say, Naz Reid, oh my God. Can I say enough about him? I mean, it's
Yes.
incredible. Talk about
Yes.
just knowing your role. And I think what was so fun about yesterday, literally half the games were decided yesterday.
Hmm.
So much fun to have game sevens
I
on
love that.
day. But I think Anthony Edwards was really great about this game. Jamal, I was about to call the Jamal Murray game after the first half, right? I mean,
Hmm.
Jamal Murray was going off. We didn't know how he was going to be. He comes into this game with the elbow that we don't know if it's 100%. Like the
Right.
storylines were all there. But all in all, you can't. You get outscored 60-37 in the second half. That is what is going to happen.
That's what's gonna
And
happen.
honestly, I think the NBA needs some new champs. Like I think Anthony Edwards has been great because he talks that like he talks trash and has that
I
confidence,
love it
but he keeps backing it up with actions, right? Like he said, "I
every
love
bit,
you,
every
KD,
time.
for the idol, but he sent you home." And then you saw him and Nikola Jokic get into it, and him and the fans. And so I think like his personality is so good for basketball. I love this story too for Mike Conley, the
Yes.
7-year veteran who has now won a game 7. Jaden McDaniels, who was somebody that Ant Edwards always, talks about, he was able to step up big. And of course, Karl Anthony Towns. I think he also had a shaky game. Remember the foul trouble, but then again, when it mattered most, was
He stepped
able to
up.
step up. So excited for this team. I know Mike Malone was real salty in that press conference after for Denver, but Denver's been there before. They just won it. And I think it's good for, new blood. When Nikola Jokic is Nikola Jokic, right? We know who the Joker is,
Hmm.
but I'm
Yeah.
excited. I think the Timberwolves is one of the most fun teams to watch. And so I'm really
Hmm.
excited for this next. And then, of course, on the other side, the Mavericks, I mean, you have Kyrie and Luka, who I think had unfinished business. Remember when that first started, we were like, oh no, this
Yeah.
relationship doesn't look like it's going to be good. Jason Kidd talked a lot about the Mavs culture that's building and budding and this trust they have in each other and the
Mhm.
fun that this team has as well. I think the Mavericks have been one of the most interesting teams to watch this season because you see how much they've been able to grow and blossom
Yes.
and develop. And they're a team that really benefited from the trade deadline. And then you look at the rookie that they have
It
off the
is.
bench making an impact. So all in all, I think it's going to be a really good series, really good basketball. Bring it on. I'm excited.
I'm excited. I'm excited. And like you said, Anthony Conley, well, Conley he's injured, but they're going to be a problem for the Mavs, and they really have to just play really fundamental basketball and just play. I need y'all. We need another ring, y'all. Let's do this. So let's just get. I'm excited. I'm excited. I can't wait till the 22nd.
And I hope, like you said, I hope they stay, healthy. Because, like I said, I mean, and like you're talking about Conley being injured, but again, just knowing that he hadn't been able to cross that threshold, so I felt the same way about, Obi Toppin being able to win,
Yeah.
with Indiana and kind of stuff it to his old team in the Knicks. So, I love and live for these storylines. And Ant Edwards had that
Yeah.
hilarious comment in the press conference, like, we haven't been relevant in 20 years. Like, it feels good to be here.
And the
It's on the
Timberwolves, they're
20th
hungry.
anniversary.
They're
They
hungry.
are. That's why they're
They're
a scary
hungry,
team
and
because you
that's
just
what's
don't
scaring
know.
me.
You just don't
Yeah,
know. Scary hours. Watch out for them.
yeah, like we gotta watch. I'm excited. So, everybody was thinking because the Lakers and Golden State were not in the playoffs, it was gonna be boring. Actually, it's been pretty decent. I've enjoyed it.
Been fun. I mean, the Indiana Pacers, I think, have really deserved so much more credit because they were such a great regular season team. But everybody's like, oh, they're young and they thought they were just regular season, kind of like how people felt about the
Yeah.
Celtics sometimes, like just regular season and not going to amount to a championship. But they did the impossible. Love what the coach said. He said we were the uninvited guests here, because everyone had kind of wrote them off. No one thought, what the Knicks were 5-2 in the Garden in Game 7s. It had been since 93 since it had happened. I mean, it had been so, I'm sorry, 95, it had been so long. And so all in all to
Mhm.
say, like, it's incredible, what they were able to go and do. Tyrese Halliburton, and of course his story. Like we have so many young stars in the NBA, which I think makes this
Yes.
so fun. I mean, because we just talked about, Ant Edwards. Tyrese Halliburton is another
Mhm.
young star. And I love the trash him and Dante DiVincenzo were talking,
Yes.
um, during that game. But, the Pacers, I think, are a team that people took for granted, quite frankly. Miles Turner and how he's been able to step up. Pascal Siakam, who I called an X factor, and he was able to come out and play some great basketball. And you really look at it, he's the one with the veteran experience on that team and kind of, knows about
Right.
being Andrew Nemhard, who also deserves so much more credit, for what he's been able to do. So all in all, I think, honestly, I know
That's really
everybody's
nice.
like, we don't have the classic big teams because New York is not in it. But I think this is good for basketball just to have these new
Well,
budding stars, going to.
Boston is a classic team.
Right, we
Boston.
have Boston, which is, and Boston is great, but I think the problem with Boston is I think so many people are used to the script. So meaning we know they're good.
That's true.
And not saying it's fair to them. It's probably not fair to them, but like we
No,
know
you're
what
right.
we
You're
get from
right.
Boston. So I think people kind of do love this excitement again of these unexpected teams. But honestly, what Boston's been resting, folks, and Boston is still Boston. So do not count them out. I do think that the Pacers are really going to have their hands full. Because Jason Tatum is still Jason Tatum. Jaylen Brown is still
Yeah.
Jaylen Brown. I mean, those
That's
two are going to be very, very hard to stop. They have that experience. Remember, Pacers are new to this, but I do think they'll be true to who they are, their identity, and I really hope we're in for 2 good series.
I would rather for the Mavs if they win the West. I would rather for them to play against the Pacers. So let's hope the
That would
Pacers
be a
win.
good final. That would
Yeah,
be
it'd be a really good final. So we shall see. I'm excited. I told Rod on last week, it seemed like the youngsters are pushing the old players out. And even though
hard.
it seems like it to me, even though it's time, it, it's like that era that we grew up with, Kobe left, KG, now LeBron is leaving soon, and Stephen, Steph, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting.
I think that's what's fun about the NBA right now. I've had this conversation. I think the old guard is still there. They're not fully pushed out. Yeah, but I get what people
Yeah.
are saying. Look who's here. Look who's here. Tyrese Halliburton talked about it. He said they thought we couldn't play fast, in the playoffs, but they did. If we
They
look at
did.
the Pacers, the way they move the ball, they're not dribbling. They know how to make the most of that court, which I think makes them so fun. And, like I said, Kevin Durant is getting older. Like you said, LeBron, we're looking for that next move and next step. John Moran, I think, is another young star that's not, I know. He had the stuff off the court, which of course hurt him. But again, another young star that brings so much, to the basketball field. So all in all to say, I think the young guard is here. But let me tell you something. Wardell Curry is probably sitting right now watching this, just getting hungry for the next season.
Oh,
Kevin Durant, he's hearing everybody talk that chatter. So all that to say, I do think this still older guard in the NBA is
absolutely
something to say. So people want to go out on their own terms. And when I think we give them fuel to the fire, so I think next season really is going to be fun to see what happens.
Yeah.
Wemby, forgot Wemby, another big star in Wembyana. We're so lucky as basketball fans.
Yeah, that's true. Absolutely lucky and blessed. So, Kelsey, as usual, it is a blessing to have you come on the show. However, you know we got a game.
Almost forgot the game.
Oh, what you know. So it's called What You Know, and we're gonna do NBA playoff trivia.
Oh man! Oh, she tests me, y'all, on a sleepless.
Now I tried to make sure I didn't do anything from the 70s and the 80s.
Thank you. Tired brains don't do old.
Some of this, it was, I had to learn too. I was like, this is cool. So, which 2 teams played in the NBA Finals in 2011?
Oh my gosh.
We just said one earlier.
Okay, we said one earlier. So they were one of the teams. Oh my gosh. So 2016 comes right to my mind because I was there for that one. We had Cleveland and Warriors. My gosh, my mind is blanking. Okay, you said it wasn't the Knicks.
I even named them as the 2011 champs because I was there. I was at those games.
I'm trying to remember. Was it the Celtics? No, they weren't there. So it wasn't the Celtics. It wasn't the Knicks. It was the Celtics. So.
And one of them is their name is. I did a corny joke earlier.
I want to hear this joke. Oh, you said it's a corny joke. Why am I forgetting the joke? Not the Pacers. They were
Dallas Mavericks.
My gosh! So see, I was eliminating all the teams.
And the Miami Heat.
This was so long ago. Oh my God. And the Miami Heat were like the Miami Heat.
Yeah, they were the Heat then, absolutely.
And shout out to Jimmy Butler too. I know he's part of the older guard, but I'm excited still to see the basketball from him.
Yeah, that's the Mavericks met the Heat in the finals in 2006, but lost and came back and made sure they got that ring. This one you probably don't know because I mean, what all-star from the Cavaliers suffered a knee injury late in Game 1 of the 2015 NBA Finals that caused him to miss the rest of the series? And we just said his name earlier too.
Who did we say earlier? I'm trying to think back.
We mentioned him and his teammate, how they're playing in the finals.
How they're playing in the finals. And you said the Cavaliers. Oh, who did I say earlier?
Who used to be with the Cavaliers?
Oh, LeBron. I don't know why mine was.
No.
Not LeBron. Okay. Who did I say earlier, folks?
Kyrie Irving.
That's right, because they won it in 2016. So Kyrie. Oh, that's right. He got hurt. Okay. Mm-hmm. Kyrie. Oh my gosh. This is really good pressure. Everybody.
I love these. These are so cool. Now, this was interesting to me. Who was the first team to win 3 consecutive NBA titles? Because I thought it was somebody else. I thought it was Boston.
That wasn't Boston. I know the Boston comes to mind because all the championships that they won.
Correct.
But was it the Warriors? No.
First team.
First team.
Consecutive NBA titles.
It was Lakers.
Yeah.
It was Lakers?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I got it right. Okay, I was like, I know Lakers have won. I didn't know they were the first one. Well, that's fun. Well, LA is LA did get the in-season tournament win this year, so I guess we're still doing something championship worthy.
What team? You better get this one. What team won the 1995-96 title?
Bulls. Y'all love MJ.
Absolutely. The first 2 games, now this was interesting, I forgot about this. The first 2 games of the NBA Finals were split with the Warriors winning Game 1 and the Cavaliers winning Game 2. Mm-hmm. Okay? What also happened in Games 1 and 2 that had never happened before in NBA Finals history?
Okay.
This was interesting.
The Pacers just got the scoring title thing, so it wasn't anything with scoring.
Mm-mm.
I'm trying to remember, and this seems like so long ago, but it wasn't.
It does seem like so long ago.
Honestly, I cannot remember. Like, I remember the series like magic because it was good, but I can't remember what this answer is.
Both games went into OT.
Overtime, because it was a good series. Like I just said, it was a
very I forgot. I was like, sure did. You'll get.
I fell asleep on one. Maybe that's why.
Right. What team won the 1996-97 title?
So Bulls were 95-96. I'm trying to remember if they won it right after. And they did, right? Yeah, because they were there we go. So I'm like, look at that. Well, that was when it was fun to be a Chicago sports fan.
It really
I don't know if they were saying the same thing.
I've been one since I was 5, so I was there when they didn't have a ring. I was there when they had 6.
You're a true fan.
Yeah, I mean, God, oh my gosh, give us one more ring, Lord. What is Michael Jordan's nickname?
MJ.
His other nickname.
Oh, he's what is his nickname? I'm like, what else do we call Jordan? The GOAT?
Hey, that's
I'm like, what else do we call MJ? You did this. Oh, flying. So Space Jam?
Air Jordan.
Oh, Air Jordan. I was trying to figure out where we're going with the flying.
You said, I love
it. He is also a GOAT though.
What is LeBron's nickname?
LeBron, is he also a GOAT? I'm trying to think, what would you say though? If we're not doing LBJ.
What do we call him before he even came into the league?
Oh my gosh, what do we call LeBron? Oh, the King. Okay, there we go. See, it's like these are good because they're small things that you like know, but it doesn't.
I know it. I know. Who has the most playoffs in NBA history? This is really interesting. You're not gonna get it.
It's not the Celtics?
No, this is a player who has the most playoffs in NBA history.
This is probably going back.
Mm-mm.
So it's a
Nope.
recent player.
Mm-hmm.
Was it somebody we said?
Mm-hmm.
Is it Curry? No, that's LeBron. I was say it has to be LeBron.
He
Man,
has had
playing
the,
this
he
long
has
in
the
the
most
NBA.
career games, 287
It's
games.
wild, but
That
there's
is crazy. Now this one shocked me, but then I can see it because, well, what team has lost the most games by a team in the playoffs?
Team has lost most games by a team in the playoffs. It's funny because I feel like in football, naturally your mind goes to the Bills, but in the NBA, I'm like, who has lost the most? Who has lost the most? I feel like it's nobody we said.
You said their name already.
I feel like it's not.
Uh-huh.
It is like.
Yep.
Oh.
They have lost the most games with 300.
It makes sense though because they've had all those appearances.
Exactly.
So put your logic
318
together.
losses. Yep. So that's why I was like, that makes sense for them and LeBron. I can see that.
Right, because the longevity. Yeah.
Correct. Well, Kelsey, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. Such a blast as always.
I know. Tell the listeners how they can follow you on social media and listen to and tune in to Listen In With KNN.
Thank you. Well, hopefully by the time they listen, I have my regular voice back. But until then, you can hear me in this voice. Listen in with KNN.com. Check out all the new shows and podcasts. Have wonderful guests coming summer long. Just had boxing champion Daniel Miracle Man Jacobs, who was incredible and amazing. And he's about to announce his next opponent soon. So can't wait for that. And you can follow me on social media, The Real K Nelson. Check out my website, Kelsey Nicole Nelson.com. Love to connect with sports fans. Bring it to me, especially now that I'm done teaching for the summer. Got a little break. I can speak more with you guys. So bring it to me. I'm so excited and looking forward to connecting with your great listeners, Sonia.
Awesome. Thank you. And guys, you can follow me on She Say Sports on Facebook, at She Say Sports 23 on Instagram, and please subscribe to our YouTube page, She Say Sports. Well, that's our show for today. Until next time, this is Sonia and Kelsey with Kelsey's Corner on She Say Sports.
Thanks. Bye, guys.
Bye.